Ever had that moment late in the year when social media suddenly starts buzzing? Timelines fill with blurry photos of a familiar sandwich, and people begin asking the same strange question all at once. Is the McRib back? For a fast food item that isn't even on the menu most of the time, it inspires a level of excitement that feels wildly out of proportion. People plan trips around it. Fans track its appearances by region. Some swear it tastes better now than it did years ago. Others claim it's never been the same. But behind the tangy sauce, the onions, and the oddly rib-shaped slab of meat is a story that's less about secret ingredients and more about psychology, food economics, and how curiosity gets engineered. If you've ever wondered what you're actually eating when you take that first bite, you're not alone. And the answer is both simpler and more fascinating than most people expect. At first glance, the McRib looks like a promise of backyard barbecues, slow-smoked ribs, and sticky fingers. The shape alone does half the storytelling. That curved outline with shallow grooves suggests bones that were never actually there. It feels intentional, almost theatrical, like the sandwich is playing a role rather than just being food. And that's where the confusion begins. Despite the name, the McRib has never been made from rib meat. Not once. From its very first appearance, the sandwich has been built around a boneless pork patty that's shaped to resemble ribs, not carved from them. That disconnect between expectation and reality is the spark that's fueled decades of rumors, debates, and even lawsuits. So what is the McRib really made of? At its core, it's pork shoulder. Pork shoulder comes from the front leg of the pig and is known for being flavorful, fatty, and forgiving when cooked. It's a cut commonly used for pulled pork and slow barbecue, which makes it a practical choice for mass production. But pork shoulder doesn't naturally form neat slabs. It's irregular, fibrous, and full of connective tissue. To turn it into something uniform, it has to be processed. The meat is ground, seasoned, mixed, and pressed into molds that give it that signature rib-like silhouette. This process is known as restructuring, and it's far more common in the food industry than most people realize. Restructured meat isn't a dirty secret. It's how chicken nuggets are made. It's how many frozen patties, deli slices, and ready-to-eat meats achieve consistent size and texture. The goal isn't deception. It's efficiency. A restaurant chain that serves millions of customers needs every sandwich to look and taste the same, whether you're ordering it in a small town or a major city. That consistency doesn't happen by accident. It's engineered. And the McRib is a textbook example of that engineering. Once the pork shoulder is ground, it's combined with water, salt, and seasoning. The water helps bind the meat and maintain moisture. Salt enhances flavor and aids preservation. Additional ingredients like dextrose, which is a simple sugar, balance flavor, and promote browning during cooking. Rosemary extract is often used as a natural preservative to slow oxidation. Beyond that, the exact formulation becomes proprietary. Food labeling laws require companies to disclose ingredients, but not the precise ratios or processing techniques. That's where speculation fills the gaps. Some assume the worst. Others imagine something far more exotic than reality. But the truth sits somewhere in the middle. It's processed, yes, but it's still pork. The shape comes next. The seasoned meat mixture is pressed into molds that imprint those familiar grooves. These grooves don't serve a culinary purpose. They exist purely for appearance. They suggest bones. They trigger associations. They make sandwich instantly recognizable even from across the room. Once formed, the patties are flash frozen. Freezing locks in structure, extends shelf life, and allows the product to be shipped nationwide without variation. By the time it reaches a restaurant, the McRib patty is essentially a blank canvas, waiting for sauce. And sauce is where much of the McRib's personality lives. The barbecue sauce is sweet, tangy, smoky, and unapologetically bold. It's designed to dominate the palate. Ingredients like tomato paste, vinegar, molasses, corn syrup, and natural smoke flavor work together to create something that feels indulgent and nostalgic at the same time. The sauce masks subtle variations in the meat and delivers a consistent punch of flavor every single time. Add slivered onions for sharpness and pickles for acidity, and you've got contrast. Soft bun, savory meat, sweet sauce, sharp crunch. It's engineered balance. But none of this explains why the McRib isn't always available. That mystery has led to one of the most persistent myths surrounding the sandwich. For years, people have believed that the McRib only returns when pork prices drop. According to this theory, the sandwich is a kind of economic indicator, appearing when pork shoulder is cheap and disappearing when prices rise. While there's some truth buried in that idea, it's not the full story. Commodity prices do influence menu decisions, but scarcity itself is part of the strategy. Limited availability turns an ordinary product into an event. When something is always available, it becomes background noise. When it's rare, it becomes news. That rarity fuels obsession. People who don't even particularly like the McRib still feel compelled to try it when it returns. There's a fear of missing out baked into the rollout. You don't know when it's leaving. You don't know when it's coming back. That uncertainty creates urgency, and urgency drives action. In that sense, the McRib is less a sandwich and more a case study in behavioral psychology. Of course, not everyone sees it that way. Some see the name itself as misleading. That argument reached a boiling point when lawsuits emerged, claiming that the word rib implies the presence of rib meat. Plaintiffs argued that shaping pork shoulder to look like ribs crosses a line. The defense countered that the ingredient list is clear, accurate, and legally compliant. The sandwich doesn't claim to contain bones. It doesn't claim to be carved from a rack of ribs. It uses a name that evokes a flavor profile rather than a butcher's diagram. Whether that feels acceptable or deceptive often depends on personal expectations rather than legal definitions. Internet rumors have taken things even further, suggesting the McRib contains organ meat, connective scraps, or parts no one would knowingly choose. These claims tend to resurface every time the sandwich returns, usually without evidence. They spread because they fit a narrative people already suspect about fast food. But official statements consistently deny those claims, and no credible investigation has shown otherwise. The McRib may be processed, but it isn't mysterious in the way conspiracy theories suggest. Its real secret isn't what's hidden inside. It's how openly ordinary it is once you strip away the hype. That becomes even clearer when you look at homemade versions. Home cooks have been recreating the McRib for years, using nothing more than ground pork, seasoning, barbecue sauce, onions, pickles, and a long roll. Shape the meat into an oblong patty. Pan fry it. Brush it with sauce. Assemble. The result isn't identical, but it's close enough to reveal the truth. The magic isn't in rare ingredients. It's in consistency, branding, and timing. And timing is everything. The McRib tends to show up during colder months, when comfort food feels more appealing. It aligns with nostalgia, with the feeling of returning to something familiar. People don't just remember the taste. They remember where they were the first time they had one. Late-night drives, road trips, after-school stops. The sandwich becomes a time capsule. That emotional layer does more work than any seasoning ever could. In the end, the McRib isn't a culinary marvel or a nutritional mystery. It's a story about how modern food works, how industrial processes meet human psychology, how a simple pork sandwich becomes legendary not because of what it is, but because of how it's framed. Scarcity turns familiarity into excitement. Shape turns suggestion into expectation. Sauce turns uniformity into flavor. And suddenly, something straightforward feels special. So the next time you see that sign announcing its return, you'll know exactly what you're biting into. Not a rack of ribs, not a secret experiment. Just pork shoulder, shaped with intention, sourced with confidence, and wrapped in one of the most effective marketing stories fast food has ever produced. And maybe that's the real reason people keep coming back. Not because the McRib is mysterious, but because it proves how easily curiosity can be built from simple things. Thank you for watching. If there's a food, object, or everyday curiosity you've always wondered about, drop it in the comments. We might just turn it into our next story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more journeys.